Hey guys, another RaddTitan on tour, and basically RaddTitan
on tour.
Yeah. All right. Basically, today we're at James's house, James Wallace. We're about to see his collection. So
also known as Thor.
Also known as Thor, and you'll see why. So just about to see his collection. So let's bring the doorbell.
Put your knickers on, love.
Hello,
gents.
Hey, brother.
Please come in.
Come go. Yeah. Hi, Gary Speed is the guest cameraman today.
Yes, give me the camera for fuck's sake.
Warning, the following video is rated RT and contains scenes of real men reviewing collectibles. RaddTitan cannot be held responsible for any viewers who act in the same manner, or will not be liable for viewers spending their money after screening these reviews. I recommend they like, comment, subscribe and share. The following video contains British accents where available.
Okay, my man, after you, lead us through, lead us the way.
Straight away, we've got some pieces there.
Jesus, you're lucky, man, that your missus allowed you to put your shit here.
Well, first off, I mean, is two pieces of.
Jesus, look, you got a Batman right behind you. Wow.
So we've got two pieces of differing scale, but as I've kind of talked about before, I think Hulk works when he's a little bit too big versus being a little bit too small.
I agree with you.
So we've got 1/6 Bowen Thor here. Obviously, this is the spinning hammer, and then the 1/5 Comiket Hulk. So this is Olivetti Hulk. There are a couple of variations of this, but just for my history of reading the comics, the Green Hulk is just where I go for Banner. And I think this is kind of quite a cool
Battle. It's definitely a great battle. Yeah.
Together, yeah. There's a great Marvel short movie, Hulk versus Thor, where Loki takes control of Hulk. He divorces Banner's personality from him in or through Hela, and tries to basically take over Asgard and defeat Thor using Hulk's body, which is a great premise. And if you haven't seen, you should check out.
There's also the Wolverine versus Hulk as well in that series, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's the same similar idea where it's kind of goes back to Logan's roots.
Is that how you open the door there? You let somebody lean over your shit and answer the door on that phone? Intercom.
I answered the door here.
Yeah, good man. I thought you would. Yeah, this is my shit. My house.
So,
yeah. I love the print though, by the way. That's an awesome print.
Yeah, a little bit of Hemsworth love as well.
Yeah, well, that's not. There's nothing wrong with that.
That is good casting for Thor.
So, if you'd like to come in, we'll get on to the next part. We shall shut
Ooh.
the door.
Boxes. Pieces. Oh yes.
Give me the fucking camera. You're worse than Gary. Alright.
So a few different places to go. This is kind of predominantly DC with a little bit of Marvel flavour. First bit, we have to obviously start with new Arkham Batman. Boyd's done a review of this already and sort of echoed my thoughts and comments on this already.
Whoa, we weren't meant to have been here earlier. whoa.
Well, we've talked about this already. Yeah. We feel similar in a similar way. When Alex was saying he's unboxing it, it's kind of it's a very good piece. It's not a great piece. There are a few things wrong with it. Well, not wrong with it. There are a few things that I would have gripes with or complaints and comments with. It's very good as a centerpiece, but there's just a few things that I think could have been done better, which kind of take away.
Close up on that bit.
So,
go on. What things?
well, I mean, it's as a when you see it in person, I think it's very impressive. But I think
presence-wise,
yeah, it's got very good presence. When you get into the actual nitty-gritty of a few elements of the paint, some of the paint could have been done a little bit better. Some of the lines could be a bit cleaner. I've had a few issues. I don't know if you can sort of see this. This right shoulder magnet here just does not stay in at all. I've kind of had to wedge it in there because the actual plug doesn't fit. This one's flush, but the magnet's not too great on there. It stays, but it's not as good as I'd like, considering how heavy this cape is. So it's.
You said something interesting to me that about the cowl. Do you remember you were saying about the cowl? I found that really interesting because I've not heard anything about that before.
Well, being a bit of a geek for the game and the Conroy Batman and what have you, this cowl, when you put it on, it's different to being
A mask.
a mask that you would have on, or sort of like a helmet.
Yeah.
These lines in here that form the actual cowl itself.
Mm.
I don't know if that kind of
Yeah.
shows on camera.
Yeah.
These are quite definitive in the actual game itself, and through the actual kind of renderings of the character, because all of these individual pieces are similar to Iron Man's helmet. They are kind of individual pieces
Like
within
mechanized.
clasped together.
Yeah.
So that could be sort of a little bit done a bit better, particularly when the actual skin tone on here and the eyes are done so brilliantly. To have
Face looks beautiful.
to have this kind of detract a little bit is a little bit disappointing.
It's a
but-
bit more prominent then.
yeah, so this is kind of sums up my feelings of the piece really, where it's very, very good when you look at it straight on here.
Yeah.
When you get in a bit closer, a few things that could have been done better, which is essentially echoes the piece. Yeah.
Okay.
I think as well with people going, it's 10 out of 10, it's 9.9 out of 10, it's 9.5 out of 10. You get such high expectations for that, and it lives up to high expectations, but just not that high. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a piece that's 9.9 out of 10. So, you know,
Comic book Thor is close to perfect as I've seen.
Yeah. There's, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people
Or
who are happy
logo.
with it, which
For
is
me.
great. And I think maybe some of the elements in mine maybe have been done better in other pieces potentially.
Good way to start though from Prime 1, no?
Yeah, it's a good
start. It's a
point.
good start.
It's a good
Considering
start
if you look at some of Sideshow's first pieces,
Yeah.
some of XM's first pieces, if you look at the rise of XM now to their first, the original Cap, the original Hulk, and you look at Sideshow original couple of pieces, they've gone from piles of shit to actually really stunning work. So if you look at it like that, and this is pretty much their first Batman piece, it can only go miles and miles and
Yeah.
miles beyond than
And
this.
to my knowledge as well, I don't think Prime 1 have done too many human pieces.
That's a
So
good
it's
point.
kind of
they've all
that's
been just the
different
Transformers and the
so it's
Turtles.
Transformers, it's Turtles.
It's a good
so
point, yeah.
when you're actually looking to craft the sculpt, get face like the colour of the face and what have you to get eyes, it's a very like you guys say, it's a very good starting point. There are a few things that could be done better, but you can
Yeah.
say that about every piece.
I think so. Yeah.
There's a lot of that comes down to preference as well.
I can't wait for their Guyver.
yeah.
That's what I can't wait for.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to steal this fucking pillow, man. This is a Hulkamania piece. I just want to have that. This is a Hulkamania. This is my childhood right here. Take your vitamins, say your prayers, whoop some ass. Love it.
Brother. Alright, so moving on.
Okay.
Over here we have sort of an amended Justice League. There's a few bits that have kind of come in, a few bits that have been taken away. So obviously Superman, Supergirl,
Custom
Shazam, Batman, Batgirl and Wonder Woman. There's a few things, we've got two customs.
All of these are custom capes, aren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, they are. And then you've got two custom pieces on here.
Mm.
This is the I think it's David Finch, I believe, head, a variation on here. There's two other variations. I'm not sure which one this is, but there's a Jim Lee on this one. Let's see those.
We've reviewed these
I
before.
think this is Kelly Jones, maybe this one. I think this is Kelly Jones, this one's Jim Lee.
One there by Tiago Pravin, aren't they?
I believe so,
Yes, they are.
Painted by Dark Spidey Customs as well. He did a brilliant job on those.
We were there when you got those off Fusco.
Yeah, we were going to bump you out of it. We were going to do it before you got there because you were delayed.
Could you also, so you actually got the unmasked one as well?
I did, but I sold it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that Mexican Batman. I wanted that Mexican one.
Oh yeah, that's a bit of a
Hola!
questionable resemblance.
A la rescate, senor.
So yeah, I've got 6 pieces here. Power Girl I used to have down here, but she's now upstairs to complete the kind of what are they called? The sirens together.
Class.
So Supergirl's a custom. These are both salt and peppers. Supergirl is one of the best customs I've seen personally. I think the sculpt is brilliant. It's a really good kind of realising of Stanley Artgerm's picture or sort of drawing of her. So these are custom capes on here. A lot of the time these pieces you can kind of have mixed results with the mixed media and things like that. I think the kind of how the stitching is done on here, the actual tailoring, how it's fit to the sculpt of the character is done really well.
It's probably the best mixed media I've seen on pieces recently, no?
There's not too much wrong with that one. I mean, Superman is done very, very well. There's obviously the notorious issue of the leaning with the weight of the cape.
I've got mine up against the fucking wall.
Yeah, so it's kind of, personally I prefer this sort of fabric anyway, just because I feel it just looks a bit more natural.
They're not expensive. They're quite cheap, aren't they?
They're quite cheap and they're made expertly. So Dynamic Menace.
They're like $50 or something, aren't they?
Something, yes, that sort of price.
£30,
And they're still available as well. So if you
Yep.
were interested in picking them up, then contact Dan, who will sort you out. Who's a great guy to deal with. Shazam as well is a good piece. It's a very good piece. The paint isn't perfect on this one, but I think it's because it was original. It was originally a prototype. There is actually a light up on here. I don't know if you can get that.
Shazam!
Oh yeah, that's pretty
So
cool.
there's a
Yeah.
little light up on there, which obviously comes out
It
better
is
in the
cool
dark.
actually. It's a decent
There you
light on it as well. It's quite bright.
So that works quite nicely. This
Is it
one,
like a fake rock that they've done that with that switch?
the actual switch is a switch.
Oh, good,
okay.
because I never can find the fake rock ones.
So then the obviously the Batman PF that I think a lot of people will be familiar with. This one's had a few modifications on obviously the custom cape, the custom head, but the armpit issue through here, which was a problem I think on the first batch, maybe.
I think it was
the
with all the
second.
first exclusive ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was quite bad.
So this one actually did have a few issues with which the guy, I don't know if he wants to be named or whatever, so I won't name him, had fixed on here. So this was kind of like tucked in, so it sits a bit tighter. The leather cape on here, this is a Dynamic Menace custom, which for me just makes the piece perfect.
It's really nice, sort of heavy leather as
Yeah,
well on that, so it really hangs well.
Yeah, it's got excellent drape to it. Perfect.
We did a
fit
video,
over
which I don't think we've
here.
even put up yet, which is we compared this Batman here to the Keaton, and we compared the capes and things at the end of it. And
Yeah.
I don't think we put that video up, have
We
we?
should get it up then.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
So his kind of B compatriot as Batgirl, from reading the comics, Barbara Gordon's Batgirl is one of my favourite characters. I think she's a fascinating character, particularly when you kind of know about her history, what happened in the Killing Joke and subsequent work. The new Batgirl stuff in the 52 is a bit hit and miss. The Gail Simone artwork for the Batgirl run is fantastic. So if you ever wanting to kind of check out and see how a female superhero should be really drawn and captured, Gail Simone's Batgirl is a great place to start. Then Wonder Woman is...
I was saying earlier that I think
You sound like someone had hold of your nut there and twisted it as you were saying that, so you're not a big fan of this piece.
I think the face looks a bit like Carrie Ann Moss. So
So she's a good piece. She's a 6 in my point of view.
So you wouldn't date her?
I wouldn't date her. Maybe one drunken night on some kind of Amazonian cocktail or what have you, but beyond that, not really.
6 isn't great, is it?
6 isn't great, but it's not a great piece.
6 is my higher end.
Flesh tones on here don't particularly work. There's no kind of like division for her.
No
underwear
sculpting,
here.
it's just
There's no
painted
sculpting. This is done quite well on here, but it's not. Again, it's not brilliant. To be honest, the cape, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but I bought it off.
Really nice, that.
Really does a lot of favours.
Who's it?
Yeah, it does a lot.
George.
George Ziggy,
Designed.
something like that.
Yeah.
You got this on
Gary.
yours? Sweet.
Gary actually got
That's a really
Gary
beautiful
woke
piece
up.
of artwork. Jesus Christ,
We need
Gary.
to- we need
Give
to-
that man a fucking cracker, because he never knows what's
I
going on.
would actually date this woman because she can whip me any time she wants.
Speaking of which, so the lasso of truth is down here, which is just there's nothing to it at all. I mean, this is kind of like, which we'll move on to in a minute with the hammers, the Mjolnir and what have you. This is Wonder Woman's signature weapon. It's what she's kind of most
Famous for, yeah.
most famously attributed to her. Sort of, it should be given more prevalence, or at least should be done better and given more of a significance in the actual overall piece, which I personally don't think it does. This isn't done any favours as well, because actually Sideshow delivered mine with a few damages to it, so the shield and the hairs have got a few scratches.
A lot of the hairs were
scratches
broken.
on it.
And a downward peg with no magnet on the shield, which is just, again, genius
Yeah,
work.
so there's a few bits that kind of, and the base is made out of helium, which...
Hence the figures weighing it down, just because it flies.
Yeah,
off
so
into
I
the sea.
mean, again, while weight isn't the thing that makes a piece a good piece or not, it is still part of the equation. So
Yeah.
For me personally, just if a piece is solid, it's a statue. It's not.
It's how I feel about edition sizes. It's not preferential, but it's in the equation. It's not that I want all my pieces to be 20,000. It is an importance, but not in my top 7 or 8 important parts.
But again, it's one of those things that you would have to consider.
And that's a high edition as well, isn't it? With all of these.
That's very. I think that's
all of
3,500.
Is that an X as well?
This is exclusive. I think that's 3,500 regular and 15 maybe exclusive.
That's just sickening numbers.
So edition size on that, is a bit questionable. Pieces a bit.
I have these 2 pieces, so I'm just as guilty, but because I love them. But I understand what you mean. It's high.
Yeah.
So love the artwork, dude. Silver Surfer, Alex's boyfriend's right up there.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a pretty kind of unique piece, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure of who made it. I can't quite make out the signature. We did find out who it was recently, but I was naive enough not to remember or make note of it. Just to kind of keep things interesting. So yes, again, that's actually a piece that I would love to pick up one day. Is the Surfer Comic Air. So that's kind of another one on the list. But one I did crossed off the list recently is the Green Lantern.
Beautiful.
So carrying on
Massive.
from the Justice League lineup, moulding in some other, or sort of like melding through some other pieces. Green Lantern is a Salt and Pepper Studios Andre custom. It's one of the statues, personally, I feel it doesn't get as much credit as it should do.
Really nice piece, yeah.
It's by far and away the best Green Lantern available, personally, in my opinion. And one of the best pieces, I think, in my collection in terms of how it's painted, the
Presence.
dynamic nature of the pose. I think the resin on here is done extremely well.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful on that.
It's with the Green Lantern, with the power of the ring, you've got quite an interesting opportunity to do some very interesting things with the base. Or not necessarily the base, but
any
element of it, with creating.
Well, that's where the new Sideshow's really fouled, I think, with the new one.
Well, the new one is horrible. I mean, the new one.
Stairs.
There's nothing going on to it at all.
He could have done so much though. With you talking about a guy, who can make anything, and they make stairs. What the fuck? I mean, all the things he could have made, they made stairs.
One of the things that's so great about Green Lantern, similar to Batman, is what defines him is his force of will, and his will to create, and his will to help his friends, and his will to survive, and his will to be a hero. And to then just see him captured as just like standing on a metallic base, just like looking at his ring with no power, just kind of makes it
Hasn't he?
flat.
But he is holding a lantern.
He's got a lantern, damn it.
Yeah.
He has got a little lantern in his hand. He can see in the dark. He can see in the dark. He's not gonna bump into anything.
But again, when there's so many things you could do, like this sort of thing here is done. This is a custom piece.
This is a beautiful piece.
When you have all of the, the tools and the paint and the sculptors at your disposal, I think there's loads of things you could do that are really interesting on this to make it stand out. Next one that doesn't particularly stand out as well as it should, partly because it's actually unfortunately came broken. This is Salt and Pepper Superman. I believe this is a custom done by Mad.
I'm really not impressed with this though, gotta say.
Yeah, this is partly, I think, due to the paint on this particular piece isn't great.
Yeah.
I think the sculpt is very good.
I think the sculpt is good, but I just think the paint lacks quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think if you've got this repainted...
Stands out though, doesn't it? It stands out in your setup for all the wrong reasons. You've got it in between the lantern and fucking Thor exclusive. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like the usual suspects, and you've got, a Muppet standing there somewhere in between them all.
Well, that's the thing is, from the original artwork that Francois had, it's again similar to the lantern. It's a very dynamic piece, and it's captured. I think it's captured well. I think a really good paint job would do a lot of favours.
Yeah, I think you could save it.
Particularly with the base as well, with the resin on the base. I think it could.
Does that cape come attached to it?
Yeah, it's all one solid piece.
Right, so that's probably hence the breakages, yeah.
Part of the problem.
Yeah, I think you need someone like...
You definitely need to be able to move that.
If you said that to someone like, what's his name, James Desai, who fucking make that look amazing.
James Desai could make a piece of shit look amazing if he paints it.
Someone like him painting it, I think that becomes a completely different piece.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I think a good paint job, a sculpt is like, your foundation. I think the paint is really what what
Defines
pushes over
it,
the
yeah.
edge.
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen it recently, obviously, with a few other pieces that come out.
Oh, baby, there's
There's your
Thor. Someone's at the door. Go quick. Let me just have a look at this Thor on my own.
Yeah, this kind of is the Grail piece, if you want to hate that term
Don't
personally,
use that
because
word.
it's just
Thor,
such a stupid
For
term.
God's sake.
Um,
Damn it.
We're kind of talking about this the other day, that if the house was on fire and there was one piece that I had to take out with me, I would leave my wife upstairs. And
That's brilliant.
so just because I want to have him in one hand and the base in the other hand, so I wouldn't have room to actually hold her as well.
Yeah, that's
so,
a good call, man. I agree with you completely.
This one is, for me, it's just it just does everything right. The paint on it is incredible. The mixed media is fantastic. The sculpt on the cape is brilliant. The base, the carvings on the base,
Beautiful
are
piece.
done brilliantly.
So this is one of the ones me and Alex have talked about before. In our early days when we started collecting, and when we heard all the terms like everybody uses, it's an overused word, but we heard all the Grail this and Grail that, and we saw this, and then we saw Spider-Man, Comiket, pretty much close together, and we bought into the idea of that Grail idea, and then obviously we saw the cap and we were like fuck, and then we saw the Hulk and we were like fuck. But this piece has always stood up as one of the best pieces I've seen in person.
Yeah.
It's always and same for the Comiket. The Spider-Man Comiket is a majestically beautiful piece too. But I can definitely, if anything that I've seen is worthy of a reputation that you can literally walk away and go, yeah, I get what people are fucking talking about. This is definitely one of them for sure. So massive congrats on that, man.
Again, it's like we're talking about. There are things that you can kind of pick up on any piece, no
Like
matter
what?
how perfect it is.
I only see one thing that you could complain about on this. Can you think of one thing that's yours?
I've only got one of them.
Yeah, that's the answer.
There you go.
I think, to be honest with you,
Just play one
the
bearded one
only
out.
complaint that you can have that people do have about this piece that you could probably say, and it is not even really a complaint, is that it needs to be displayed low. It looks best low, so you can see that face, just because he's looking slightly more up. If his head was, I don't know, about 2 or 3 inches, chin tucked more into his chest, just a tiny bit more, I think no one would have anything negative to say about this.
Well, I think you can as well. There is an element because, again, for me, just from the comics, this is at the point where he's commanding the lightning to come through Mjolnir, so he's kind of looking up for the lightning to kind of then channel through the hammer. So
Yeah.
I think you could have him higher up to kind of accentuate the fact that he is high up and he's commanding something that's coming down from the sky. So I think it could work from that extent.
I think
you
it-
don't get the detail.
I mean,
of this through him.
I think the weakness that people talk about it is, for me, I don't see it as a weakness. I would have it up high, down low, anywhere. I'd place it anywhere. And
I think that's an observation. I don't think that's a weakness personally.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I'd have to agree.
Next piece as well. Not exactly any weaknesses really on this.
I love this, but this is the one I grab and leave my wife for.
Yeah, I mean, Thanos is a very interesting character. And for people who haven't read too much comics, will be learning a lot about what this character really represents through the movies. This idea of Thanos is perfect. It's just captured. It's just power, and the kind of expression on his face as well is.
Come get some.
Yeah, arrogance of knowing how powerful he is and the fact that he can exact that power on anyone he so chooses to, which is exemplified by the use of the gauntlet.
Doesn't look out of place there, does it? I'm quite proud about that because I obviously have Thanos. Definitely doesn't look out of place next to Thor. Does
I like the way Thanos is so thick set and so chunky, but
it's just
still,
great. They look great
the
together. I really
the
want that
scaling's
Thor
right.
now because they look so good together.
One thing as well is a few people have said about the base as well. The base is very indicative of the Infinity Wars story arc as well.
Careful, Thor. You're getting me hard here, man.
It's,
This is what I say on review, bro.
we couldn't work out price last time. So yeah, it's ripped straight out of the Infinity Wars. And again,
It's very significant,
A
very
lot.
important.
a lot of people talk kind of historically, which we'll get onto later, about how Bowen is close to comic, or kind of the truest version of the comics. This is ripped straight from the pages.
Yeah.
It's a really, really great
This is
representation
comic
of the
accurate as
character.
you can get in it. It's just what
Comic
we
accurate
love.
character.
Yeah.
The paint is excellent. It's just everything you'd come to expect from XM really, which again we'll get onto later on.
Notice you've got a few hammers here for me. You trying to tell us?
One or two.
something?
So,
one
yeah.
or two.
Hammer time.
How long have you waited to say
Oh,
that?
that's great. That's good.
I've been
So
waiting for
talking about Bowens, if we go on kind of the left-hand side first, this is
chipped
sort of
Bowen.
museum
Fuck.
museum Bowen that has a huge chip in it now, unfortunately, due to some
Clown.
yeah, limp-wristed,
Some fucking
heavy-handed
idiot, yeah.
chump earlier on.
Damn it, Gary, get out!
This is again it's straight out of the comic books. This is a Walter
Russell was
Simonson.
saying earlier about Bowen's just being the best comic
Comic stuff is
representations.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
The colours are always perfect on the
I
Bowens.
love that. I love that piece. It looks great. Yeah, I mean, museum. It's Thor museum, isn't it? And it really is. It's exactly that.
And there's actually next media in here because this is actual leather on here as well.
I didn't know that.
Cool.
So there is kind of a little bit of an element of that as well.
You got the other beautiful Thor up there as well. It's a lovely one.
Yes, the
Big
Sideshow
fan.
piece
Doesn't get enough love, that one.
It's a great
No, I was
piece.
literally about to say the same thing. I think this is really a really good piece. It's not kind of particularly praised or given much sort of credence in people's collections. I think it does look, in person it looks fantastic. I think with the problem of Sideshow having produced the Thor we talked about earlier, it's overshadowed somewhat in a similar way to the new Doom. I think the new Doom is a good piece, but it's so in the shadow of...
People just go by the original and OG
You see
this.
sort
Or,
of why though. In fact,
Yeah,
if you do put
yeah.
them to get next to each other.
well, we can only do it if I do that.
Yeah, but the thing is, the funny thing is that you've got, I think you've got, this is scale, presence, power, mystical, this Thor, and you look up at that one and it's...
Hello, boys.
It's not, no, it's dynamic, fast, agile, all the things he is. I think they captured him perfectly in both ones, personally.
Yeah, I've got this one and I'm really happy
I love
with
that piece.
I'm really happy with it.
I've come close to buying it about 6 times.
Who makes the hammers then?
So the one on the left, this is the Dark World version.
Yep.
This I think is Beast Kingdom Toys, I believe is the company who make that. This one here is just a toy one. I'm not sure who makes this one.
Who's JP Wallace?
That's
him.
That's actually my dad's. My dad's from his desk. He used to have it work, so it's just sort of like a personal thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is.
I was going to say, is he the dude that signed it back then?
No, that's actually this one here is Chris Hemsworth, and that's Stanley at the bottom there as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
I noticed there's a Stan Lee one on
And
his
there's a
helmet.
Stanley one on the helmet. Then this one here is the Sideshow version, I believe. I think it's Museum Replicas, I think is the name of the line. This is also a Sideshow piece, I believe, as well. I think that's still the Museum Replicas. And this is a Tony Mai custom of the Avengers Hot Toys Thor. So it's been custom modified to have the fabric, the sort of the skin tone on the arms, and then the cape is like a silky type material, which is beautiful. I think he only made 5 of those.
Wow.
That print as well.
I think that's number 2 of 5.
That is a lovely print, that.
Quite a bit of glare on there.
Yeah,
You've got Thor
it makes me sad
doing,
though in my heart. It makes me sad. Brother shouldn't fight.
What are these? Are these both Hot Toys over here?
Yeah, that's 2. The only 2 Star Wars Hot Toys. Actually, I started my collection originally with Hot Toys, so
Yeah.
those 2 and the Thor piece are the only ones I have left.
And what's the other one? Gentle Giant or Atticus? Or
I think that's an Atticus. So
Okay.
Gazza,
do you know?
How do you say it?
What's that?
do you know what that is there? Is that Atticus?
I think that's a Kotu. I'm not too
Oh,
sure.
okay.
I
That
think
could be
it is,
Kotu,
but I'm not too sure.
Look up there.
And then we're going to look up here. There you go.
What in the hell is that?
So again, I mean that's
Beautiful.
another piece that's kind of doesn't really get quite as much attention as I feel it might deserve. It's one of the pieces that's I think is a little hit and miss. I think some of ARH's work is exceptional, and some of it isn't quite as good, just from my personal experience.
So that's in ARH Thor.
This is ARH Thor, yes, from the mythology line.
Stunning.
So this is the
we're
Thor
going to
Odin
have to
sign.
get that down and have a look at that because that looks gravy.
Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of it's a very unique piece.
Yeah, we're just about to
There's gargoyles everywhere.
we're about to go upstairs. Damn. Okay. So, my head back.
It's always fucking bad, bro. I can't believe I wouldn't seen that in public. Fuck you.
Alright, Yeah, we're just about to
His gargoyle was everywhere.
we're about to go upstairs. Damn.
God damn!
All right, should we head upstairs?
Let's do.
Okay.
Lead the way.
What I'll do is I'll stop it and then start again.